I'm Akash, and this is your News of the Week for the week of May 2nd to May 8th, 2021. Let's take a look at the news this week, starting with India's COVID-19 situation, which is getting very, very bad. It's very heartbreaking to see India struggling with the second COVID-19 wave, which has definitely hit India very hard. Let's take a look at the numbers. So, just today, May 8th, India has broken the records, as it has done continually with every passing day, for most COVID-19 cases in a day, with 400,000 cases today and over 4,000 deaths. Now, this is very record-breaking and it's very dangerous, as overall, India reports that it has seen 21.8 million cases of COVID-19, and this includes 240,000 deaths as well. And for all we know, this is just what the government is reporting. It could be much higher than this, the actual numbers. So this is a very dangerous situation. And in the early stages of this COVID-19 pandemic in India, the larger cities like Delhi and Mumbai were being the ones to get hit a lot because, well, they're the major cities in India. However, recently the focus has been starting to shift down south, especially in Karnataka, whose capital city, Bengaluru, has topped the Indian city cases for most number of COVID-19 cases and deaths in the entire country. And although the international community is helping India during this very rough time of crisis, India, with over 1.3 billion people, second most populous of any country in the world, India is still struggling as it tries to find ventilators and other supplies for COVID-19, and as it also struggles with crowded crematoriums as well. And this is a very heartbreaking situation, and I pray for the safety of the Indian people. And states are now turning to lockdown as the pressure is starting to mount heavily on Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government. Next, the U.S. Trade Representative Katherine Tai has announced that the U.S. is going to support the proposal by South Africa and India to the World Trade Organization to temporarily exempt the COVID vaccines from intellectual property rights. Now, this proposal, which was made last fall by South Africa and India, would hopefully widen the access to COVID-19 vaccines. And this is because the effects of the rules right now that govern the patents, designs, and copyrights, as well as a few trade secrets, these rules would be paused until most of the human population worldwide has finally been immunized with COVID-19. But the proposal is not without opposition from pharmaceutical companies, who are saying that this intellectual property rights isn't actually the main cause of pausing the borders between the countries for COVID-19. So we'll have to see how this proposal goes at the World Trade Organization. Next, the federal jury indicts the 4 former Minneapolis police officers who were involved in the death of George Floyd on May 25th, 2020. Now, you may have known that just last month, the Derek Chauvin, who was the former officer who killed George Floyd and was convicted on murder charges just last month, now he's being indicted on a federal charge by a federal jury, this time for restricting the freedom to break free from any unreasonable force, which he had done in the killing of George Floyd. And meanwhile, the other 3 former officers who were present at the scene were also indicted for not intervening at all in Chauvin's excessive and unreasonable use of force. And so it seems that justice has finally been served in the case of George Floyd. Next, North Korea is now warning the U.S. of a very grave situation after Biden's speech to Congress on April 29th. Now, in this speech, President Biden said that the nuclear arsenals of North Korea and Iran were posing a major security threat to America. And North Korea apparently decided to respond by saying that America is the one being the hostile one, giving a hostile policy straight to North Korea and saying that America has done a big blunder by doing this, and saying that the relationship between the two countries, which is already pretty strained, is going to devolve into a crisis beyond control if America decides to continue going in this way. Now, how did America respond to this? Well, President Biden and his administration had just completed the policy review of North Korea, and so America's plan for the denuclearization of North Korea has been set. The strategy is that the Biden administration will take a step-by-step approach to the denuclearization of North Korea. Next, large uncontrolled Chinese rockets is now falling and will soon enter and fall somewhere on Earth this weekend. Now, what is going on here? Well, just last month, China launched its Tianhei, which is the core module of the soon-to-be Tiangong space station module. They're planning on building a new space station, so they launched the first core module of it just last month on the Long March 5B rocket, which would take a pretty long march to go by. It is a gigantic rocket. So now, the China National Space Agency, or CNSA, has lost control of it, and it is now going to fall onto the Earth somewhere. We have no idea where it is going to land. Now, China government has said, hey, you guys are waiting out over nothing. Look, it's going to burn up in the atmosphere. Everything's going to be safe. You don't have to worry too much. However, the European Space Agency disagrees and has created a risk zone for where this Long March 5B rocket may land and its debris scattered. And this area is quite large, and it ranges from pretty much all of the Americas south of New York, all of Africa and Australia, pretty much all of Asia that's south of Japan, and the European countries of Spain, Portugal, Italy, and Greece. So it's quite large of a risk zone that the European Space Agency has put together, but we don't know. This might change as time goes on. And finally, in a SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule containing 4 astronauts, 3 American and 1 Japanese, has landed in the Gulf of Mexico near Panama City and Florida just recently at literally 3 a.m. Now, this is a very rare nighttime landing because normally you want to see, so it's gonna have to be in the day, but this time it is done in the very, very early morning, which is rare, but this serves as a very successful mission for SpaceX. It's the second successful mission they've had so far, which is crewed, and SpaceX is poised to soon start doing commercial space travel. This means space tourism in the very near future, and I cannot wait to see where this goes, and I hope that you can't wait either. And that is all of your news of the week for the week of May 2nd to May 8th, 2021. I'm Akasha Cody. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.